Hello there. Welcome back to Midnight Ocean. I'm Velen, your guide to traveling through the wonders of the ocean. Tonight, we're going to discover some of the largest marine predators. If these cozy moments calm you, I invite you to subscribe, share a comment, or leave a like. Now, get comfortable, take a deep breath. Don't be afraid, you're safe here. Let's dive deep into the sea and let our imagination guide us to a peaceful and deep night. For decades, the great white shark held the symbolic top spot in the public imagination of marine predators. But the title of the ocean's dominant predator belongs to another animal. In 1997, the first documented interaction between a great white shark and orcas was recorded. Two orcas killed a great white shark and ate its liver. The pattern repeated in other regions. In 2009, researchers tagged 17 great white sharks off the California coast. When a pod of orcas entered the surrounding waters, the sharks vanished, and within 8 hours, all of them were gone. Most didn't return for the rest of the season. A 2024 study found that orcas actively hunt great white sharks, and they don't even need to do it in groups. A single orca can overpower a great white shark with ease. Another study from the same year described orcas that developed a preference for the shark's nutrient-rich liver, typically abandoning the rest of the carcass. Imagine witnessing the moment a widely accepted marine hierarchy collapses right in front of researchers. That moment happened near Ano Nuevo Island, when observers recorded two orcas ambushing an adult great white shark, pinning it down and precisely extracting the liver, the organ that holds most of the animal's energy reserves. This behavior isn't a fluke. It reflects planning, coordination, and precise anatomical knowledge of exactly where to strike to maximize nutritional gain with minimal effort. From that record on, scientists began reconsidering who actually rules the coastal waters where both species coexist. That escape pattern repeated with striking statistical clarity along the California coast. 17 great white sharks had been fitted with tracking transmitters, allowing continuous monitoring of their movements through the region's coastal waters. It only took a pod of orcas entering those waters for the sharks' collective behavior to change dramatically. Tracking signals showed an abrupt shift away from the area within just 8 hours. Researchers say this territorial abandonment suggests an instinctive recognition of lethal threat, something rarely observed in great white sharks in response to another marine animal. The persistence of this territorial avoidance underscores just how significant the orca's presence really is. Many of the tracked sharks never returned to the coastal region for the entire hunting season they would normally occupy. This represents a real ecological cost. Areas rich in food resources, once routinely exploited, went unused for months at a time. Scientists interpret this reaction as evidence of long-term memory tied to the danger orcas pose, suggesting a sophisticated cognitive ability to recognize and avoid threats even after the predator has left the area. Recently published research has solidified this emerging understanding of the ocean's true hierarchy. A 2024 study showed that orcas don't necessarily need superior numbers to take down adult great white sharks. Lone individuals proved capable of carrying out successful attacks on their own. This individual capability defies earlier assumptions, which presumed extensive group coordination was needed to take on prey of that size. The finding repositions the orca as the undisputed apex predator, capable of overpowering opponents long considered untouchable within the coastal ecosystem. Another study conducted in the same period revealed a specific feeding pattern among orca populations that prey on sharks. Researchers documented a consistent preference for the liver, an organ extraordinarily rich in lipids and concentrated energy compounds. After extracting that internal structure, orcas frequently abandon the rest of the carcass, a behavior that points to sophisticated nutritional selectivity rather than generalized opportunistic predation. This dietary specialization reinforces the interpretation that orcas understand exactly where the greatest caloric value lies within their marine prey's body. This evidence, accumulated over nearly 3 decades, is reshaping traditional narratives about ocean supremacy. Where the great white shark once stood as the unchallenged predator, systematic records now show clear vulnerability in the face of orcas. Flight behaviors, prolonged territorial abandonment, and documented individual predation capability all converge into a robust scientific picture. This reassessment doesn't diminish the great white shark's predatory abilities against other prey, but it does clarify its relative position within a food chain that's more complex than earlier popular depictions suggested. Understanding this dynamic requires looking at behavior, physiology, and collective strategy as interconnected factors. Great white sharks rely on raw individual strength, explosive speed, and a solitary instinct honed over a long history of predatory adaptation. Orcas, on the other hand, combine complex social intelligence, sophisticated communication among pod members, and the ability to pass down acquired knowledge across generations. This fundamental difference, isolated strength versus collective intelligence, explains why, even when facing a physically formidable opponent, orcas manage to subdue great white sharks again and again, establishing a dominance few would have thought possible before the first documented records. Circling back to where these discoveries began, it's worth reconsidering what that first 1997 encounter really meant for marine science. It wasn't an isolated event or behavioral anomaly, but the first visible window into a predatory dynamic that likely existed long before, simply undocumented. Every new record since then adds another layer of evidence to a picture that keeps growing. The question that remains for researchers isn't whether orcas dominate great white sharks anymore, but how often this dynamic plays out silently in waters rarely observed by human eyes. The orca, or Sinus orca, is technically the largest member of the dolphin family. They're titans compared to a great white shark, weighing 3 times as much and reaching twice the length. An orca's estimated bite force is a staggering 19,000 psi, more than 6 times the bite force of a great white shark. Group hunting is what allows the orca to take down prey far larger than itself. Orcas hunt everything from seals 1/10 their size to moose wading in shallow water, all the way up to the largest animal on Earth, the blue whale, whose tongue alone can weigh as much as a female orca. Pods are led by females past reproductive age, usually the oldest members of the group. The orca's biological sonar doesn't just locate prey. It can tell fish species apart by the size of their swim bladder, letting the orca learn and recognize which fish are worth chasing. Picture lining the 2 animals up side by side, physique against physique, before any confrontation even begins. A typical adult great white shark reaches between 4 and 5 meters in length, weighing close to 2 tons. An adult orca, by contrast, often exceeds 8 meters and can weigh more than 5 tons. That difference isn't subtle. It amounts to nearly triple the body mass and double the linear length. When 2 animals with that kind of size gap meet, the initial physical advantage already dramatically favors the orca, even before any hunting strategy comes into play. Bite force reveals an even more extreme disparity between the 2 species. Researchers estimate orcas exert jaw pressure close to 19,000 pounds per square inch, a unit known as psi. Great white sharks, despite their fearsome jaws lined with rows of serrated teeth, exert an estimated force roughly 6 times lower than that mark. This mechanical difference lets orcas immobilize sturdy prey with striking speed, applying enough pressure to cause severe structural damage to tissue and cartilage that would normally withstand less powerful attacks. Collective hunting is perhaps the single most decisive factor behind orcas' predatory edge. Unlike sharks, which generally hunt alone, relying on ambush and speed, orcas operate in tight-knit family groups called pods. This social structure enables coordinated strategies, surrounding prey, herding it into unfavorable positions, taking turns attacking to wear down the target's physical resistance. Constant communication between pod members, through specific vocalizations, synchronizes their movements with remarkable precision. This cooperation multiplies their collective predatory power far beyond anything a single individual could pull off alone, regardless of individual strength or speed. The sheer variety of prey hunted by orcas illustrates extraordinary behavioral adaptability. Different populations have developed distinct specializations. Some chase seals in shallow water, even deliberately beaching themselves on the sand to grab prey close to shore before sliding back into the water. Others go after moose swimming between islands. Even bolder populations take on blue whales, the largest animal that has ever existed on the planet. This dietary flexibility demonstrates a capacity for learning and cultural transmission across generations, a trait rare among marine predators and one that reinforces the orca's position of widespread ecological dominance. The social structure led by older females is a fascinating element of this organization. After their reproductive years end, females often take on a leadership role within the pod, guiding decisions about migration routes, locating prey, and hunting strategies. This phenomenon, known as post-reproductive menopause, is extremely rare in the animal kingdom, observed in only a handful of species besides humans. Knowledge built up over decades of life allows these females to lead the group with superior efficiency, especially during periods of food scarcity. The orca's echolocation system is an extraordinarily sophisticated sensory tool. By emitting high-frequency sound clicks that can travel long distances underwater, orcas build a detailed map of their surrounding underwater environment. This capability goes beyond simple spatial location. It allows them to discern internal characteristics of potential prey, including the size of a specific fish's swim bladder. This sensory precision enables careful target selection, prioritizing species that offer the greatest energy return and optimizing hunting effort relative to the nutritional payoff. Additional physiological adaptations reinforce orcas' predatory capability across diverse environments. A thick layer of subcutaneous fat, called blubber, provides efficient thermal insulation, allowing them to stay in cold waters for extended periods where much of their prey gathers. Prominent dorsal fins and a streamlined body allow for considerable swimming speeds, essential for chases and quick maneuvers during coordinated hunts. This combination of physical strength, social intelligence, and refined sensory ability positions the orca as an extraordinarily versatile predator, capable of exploiting ecological niches ranging from icy polar waters to warm tropical regions. Coming back to the initial comparison between the two species, it's clear the orca's advantages aren't limited to any single trait. Superior size, devastating bite force, complex social organization, and refined sensory ability all combine to form a complete predator, rarely matched anywhere else in the marine world. This combination of factors explains why the orca manages to dominate even prey traditionally considered untouchable, continually reshaping the scientific understanding of the ocean's true predatory hierarchy. The great white shark, Carcharodon carcharias, remains the ocean's most recognizable predator, even without sitting at the very top of the food chain. It can detect blood from 3 miles away, about 5 kilometers. It's a master of ambush, using low-light conditions and bursts of speed to catch prey off guard. Despite its reputation, the actual risk it poses to humans is low. In 2024, there were only 47 unprovoked bite incidents across all shark species combined, and 7 fatalities in total. The animal that inspired decades of fear on the big screen actually occupies the second rung of a hierarchy topped by the orca, the only known species capable of consistently hunting adult great white sharks. Picture a sensory system capable of detecting a single drop of blood dissolved in an enormous volume of water from miles away. That's the level of olfactory sensitivity attributed to the great white shark. Specialized nostrils, located on the underside of the snout, pick up chemical molecules dissolved in the water at extremely diluted concentrations. This ability evolved over millions of years as an essential survival tool, allowing the shark to locate wounded prey or marine animal carcasses before any visual cue is even available. The great white shark's hunting strategy is fundamentally built on surprise and explosive speed, not prolonged pursuit. Approaching silently from the depths, often with the sun behind it to make it harder to spot from the surface, the predator waits for the ideal moment to strike. When it does, it can reach speeds exceeding 40 kilometers per hour over short distances, enough to launch part of its body clear out of the water when catching seals near the surface. This vertical ambush technique drastically cuts down the prey's chance of escape. Public perception of how dangerous great white sharks are diverges sharply from the actual statistics. 2024 records documented a relatively low number of unprovoked bite incidents involving humans across all shark species worldwide combined. Fatalities from those encounters were similarly low. These numbers stand in stark contrast to movie depictions that popularized the image of a relentless, ever-present predator, fueling fear that's disproportionate to the real statistical risk faced by swimmers and divers. Specialized anatomy rounds out the great white shark's sensory and strategic capabilities. Multiple rows of serrated teeth, constantly replaced throughout its life, allow it to cut through tissue and cartilage with remarkable efficiency. Powerful jaw muscles generate considerable bite force, though still lower than that exerted by orcas. A specialized circulatory system keeps its body temperature slightly above that of the surrounding water, a rare trait among fish, giving it a metabolic edge that sustains the bursts of speed needed during decisive predatory attacks. The great white shark's social behavior differs drastically from that seen in orcas. Predominantly solitary, this animal rarely forms coordinated groups to hunt, preferring to patrol individual territory on its own. Encounters between members of the same species generally follow a hierarchy based on body size, with larger individuals getting priority access to available food resources. This lack of social cooperation, while effective for catching individual prey like seals and sea lions, becomes a clear disadvantage when facing organized groups of rival predators. The great white shark's geographic range spans coastal and oceanic waters on practically every continent, with documented populations ranging from Australian coastlines to South African shores, as well as regions off California and the Mediterranean. This broad distribution reflects considerable ecological adaptability, allowing the species to exploit different marine ecosystems based on seasonal prey availability. Long migrations, some covering thousands of kilometers, connect feeding grounds with possible breeding zones, demonstrating a sophisticated navigational capability that contemporary marine science still doesn't fully understand. Recent research using electronic tagging has revolutionized our understanding of great white shark behavior patterns. Attached sensors allow tracking of depth, temperature, speed, and geographic location over months or even years. This data has revealed previously unknown behaviors, including deep dives into dark waters and predictable seasonal migration patterns. It was these very sensors, originally designed to study feeding and reproductive habits, that ended up inadvertently documenting the phenomenon of mass flight in the presence of orcas, reshaping the great white shark's position in the marine ecosystem's hierarchy. Coming back to the cultural recognition the great white shark has achieved, it's worth highlighting the contrast between its symbolic fame and its actual ecological standing. Decades of media portrayal cemented the image of a supreme, relentless predator, a narrative that shaped public perception for generations. Yet accumulated scientific evidence points to a more complex reality. An animal extraordinarily well adapted for solo hunting, equipped with finely tuned senses and remarkable physical capabilities, but positioned below another marine predator in terms of direct ecological dominance. This reassessment doesn't diminish the great white shark's biological significance. It simply puts its role into proper context within an ocean food web considerably more intricate than simplified popular depictions of absolute marine supremacy would suggest. The sperm whale, Physeter macrocephalus, is the largest carnivorous toothed animal on the planet, and its primary food source lives in the darkest depths of the ocean. It can eat up to a ton of food per day, devouring something like 220 billion pounds of squid a year, roughly equivalent to the entire planet's annual commercial fishing catch combined. It dives as deep as 3,000 meters to hunt rays, octopuses, and giant squid. The most legendary prey in this hunt is the giant squid, Architeuthis dux, and the colossal squid, Mesonychoteuthis hamiltoni. Broad scientific consensus holds that sperm whales prey on giant squid, even though humans have almost never directly witnessed a live battle between them. The evidence is written on the whale's own body. These battles leave visible scars and marks on the whale's skin, evidence of violent struggles. The squid uses its suckers and tentacles to latch onto the whale and avoid being swallowed whole. Pictured descending alongside an animal the size of a school bus, plunging straight down into total darkness, where crushing pressure completely replaces sunlight. That's the daily routine of the sperm whale, which leaves the sunlit surface to chase prey in abyssal regions virtually inaccessible to other predators. Specialized lung capacity stores enough oxygen to sustain prolonged dives, while circulatory adaptations redirect blood flow preferentially to vital organs, allowing survival in an environment where atmospheric pressure multiplies hundreds of times over compared to the surface. The sheer volume of food these whales consume daily is staggering. A ton of marine prey, processed repeatedly throughout each year, adds up to an amount comparable to the entire world's combined commercial fishing output. This voracious appetite reflects the metabolic demands of sustaining a body that can exceed 15 meters in length and weigh tens of tons. Squid make up the bulk of this diet, captured through repeated dives that push physiological limits to the extreme, requiring careful recovery between each descent into the ocean depths. The giant squid, a creature shrouded in mystery for centuries, is one of the most formidable opponents the sperm whale faces. Tentacles lined with suckers armed with serrated structures allow it to latch tightly onto the predator, actively resisting capture attempts. Although direct sightings of these battles remain extraordinarily rare, the telltale circular scars found scattered across adult sperm whales' skin offer unquestionable physical evidence of violent confrontations occurring in the depths, far beyond any possible direct human observation. The sperm whale's echolocation system operates with extraordinary acoustic power, considered among the most intense produced by any animal on land or in the sea. Low-frequency clicks, generated through a specialized cranial structure called the spermaceti organ, allow it to locate prey in complete darkness. This biological system functions like a highly sophisticated sonar, capable of detecting the shapes and movements of squid at considerable distances, compensating for the total absence of visible light in the depths where most of these decisive predatory hunts take place. The sperm whale's massive cranial structure, accounting for roughly a third of its total body length, houses not only a sophisticated echolocation system, but also significant reserves of specialized oil. This material, historically exploited by commercial whalers, serves a biological function related to buoyancy and possibly to the intensity of sound produced during hunts. A relatively narrow jaw, lined with uniform conical teeth, rounds out the specialized anatomy built for grabbing slippery prey in an environment with virtually zero visibility. Migratory and social patterns of the sperm whale reveal complex organization among family groups. Females and calves generally stay in warmer waters, forming stable social units called clans, while adult males often migrate solo toward colder polar waters, where abundant populations of squid and other deep-sea prey thrive. This behavioral segregation by sex and age reflects distinct survival strategies, optimizing access to food resources according to the specific energy needs of each life stage. Contemporary research using advanced tagging technology has documented dive depths and durations that were previously only estimated theoretically. Records have confirmed routine descents beyond 1,000 meters, with exceptional cases approaching 3,000 meters, with submersion periods that can exceed a full hour. This quantitative data has transformed the scientific understanding of this species' extreme physiological capabilities, revealing biological adaptations that allow it to exploit one of the most hostile and least understood environments on the entire planet. Coming back to the sheer scale of food consumption mentioned at the start, it's worth putting the broader ecological implications of this massive predation into context. Global sperm whale populations exert significant influence over squid population dynamics across various ocean regions, acting as natural regulators within deep food chains rarely observed directly. The scars on these whales' bodies stand as a silent record of confrontations fought in absolute darkness, physical testimony to battles that have, across generations, shaped some of the most extraordinary and least visually documented predatory interactions in the entire marine animal kingdom. The tiger shark, Galiocerdo cuvier, is known for hunting at night, with visual adaptations that few marine predators possess. Its retinas have an extra reflective layer, which gives the light-sensitive cells a second chance to pick up an image. The tiger shark's diet is more varied than that of any other shark species. It includes sea turtles, dugongs, seals, seabirds, dolphins, smaller sharks, fish, crustaceans, and even non-food items like license plates and tires. Its hunting strategy with large prey is peculiar. It often uses an investigative bite and wait approach, inflicting an initial wound, then backing off, waiting for the prey to weaken from blood loss before returning to feed. Picture having eyes equipped with a built-in biological mirror, capable of recycling photons of light that would normally slip away without triggering any visual response at all. This structure, known as the tapetum lucidum, sits behind the retina, reflecting unabsorbed light back through the photosensitive cells. This mechanism essentially doubles the available light capture, enabling functional vision even in near-total darkness. The practical result: tiger sharks become formidable hunters exactly when other marine predators face significant sensory limitations during nighttime hours. The tiger shark's dietary breadth stands in sharp contrast to the specialization seen in other predatory marine species. While many predators focus their efforts on specific prey, this animal shows a remarkable willingness to eat practically any organic material available, occasionally supplemented by inorganic objects swallowed by accident. This extreme dietary generalism, documented through stomach content analysis, reveals exceptional behavioral adaptability, allowing survival in environments where the availability of specific prey varies considerably by season and geographic location. The bite and wait strategy is a calculated approach that's particularly effective against potentially dangerous or sizable prey. Rather than fully committing to a single risky attack, the predator inflicts a significant initial wound, then strategically backs off to observe the prey's reaction. This tactical pause allows it to gauge the level of physical damage caused, minimizing the risk of injury to itself during confrontations with animals capable of effective retaliation, such as adult sea turtles equipped with sturdy shells or sizable dugongs. The ability to process tough materials rounds out the tiger shark's generalist feeding strategy. Powerful jaws, lined with highly specialized serrated teeth, can pierce through and break apart sea turtle shells, structures normally protected against most ocean predators. This exceptional mechanical capability opens up access to a relatively well-protected food source, contributing significantly to turtle population control across various coastal and ocean ecosystems where both species regularly coexist. The tiger shark's migratory patterns often track the seasonal availability of specific prey, demonstrating sophisticated behavioral planning. Populations documented near Hawaii, for instance, increase their presence at certain times of year coinciding with seabird nesting season, when inexperienced fledglings become vulnerable during their first flights over water. This timing match between predatory migration and seasonal prey vulnerability suggests a complex ecological memory, possibly passed down or reinforced through individual experience accumulated over years. The tiger shark's wide geographic range spans tropical and subtropical waters across virtually every ocean, often associated with coastal regions rich in diverse marine biodiversity. This extensive presence positions the species as a key ecological component, regulating populations of various prey and maintaining balance within complex food chains. Territorial adaptability allows it to exploit coral reefs, estuaries, deep ocean waters, and shallow coastal zones, demonstrating environmental flexibility that perfectly complements the dietary flexibility already mentioned. Heightened nighttime behavior ties directly to the sensory advantage provided by the specialized eye structure mentioned earlier. During the dark hours, when many potential prey lower their guard or become less able to detect approaching predators, the tiger shark maximizes hunting efficiency by exploiting exactly that window of increased vulnerability. This behavioral pattern, combined with an extraordinarily diverse diet, positions the species as a highly successful opportunistic predator across multiple distinct ecological contexts. Coming back to the exceptional visual ability mentioned at the start, it's worth recognizing how this specific biological adaptation has fundamentally shaped this species' entire behavioral strategy. Privileged night vision doesn't just enable efficient hunting during low-light periods. It also influences active hours, migration patterns, and even the composition of its extraordinarily broad diet. This interplay between a specific sensory adaptation and generalized ecological behavior illustrates how small anatomical changes can produce far-reaching behavioral consequences, completely reshaping a species' ecological position within its natural environment. The bull shark, Carcharodontis lucus, has an ability no other large shark has, living in freshwater. It can move between fresh and salt water, regulating salt levels in its body through its kidneys and special glands. It has one of the most powerful bite forces of any shark relative to its size. Research shows its bite force can even exceed that of larger species, like the great white shark. The bull shark's bite force comes in at 6,000 newtons, about 1,300 pounds of force, compared to 247 and 292 pounds for a human bite. Its hunting technique is direct. The bull shark tends to fully commit to its attacks, biting with tremendous force and often shaking its head to tear chunks off larger prey. Picture a fish able to freely cross the invisible boundary separating the salty ocean from a completely freshwater river, without suffering catastrophic physiological consequences from that extreme transition. This ability, rare among large sharks, depends on a specialized kidney system that continuously adjusts the body's salt concentration based on the surrounding environment. Additional rectal glands support this regulatory process, excreting excess salt when needed or retaining it as physiological demand requires, allowing functional survival in rivers hundreds of kilometers from the original ocean coastline. This exceptional environmental adaptability has already allowed scientists to document bull sharks navigating continental rivers deep inland, far from any immediate ocean connection. Scientific records confirm the species' presence in distant river systems, demonstrating a migratory capability that far exceeds the typical geographic limitations of other marine sharks. This territorial flexibility significantly expands the predator's ecological range, allowing it to exploit feeding niches completely different from those available exclusively in traditional ocean environments. Its exceptional jaw strength, disproportionate to a body size that's relatively modest compared to other large marine predators, comes from specialized musculature concentrated in the cranial region. This mechanical capability allows it to process prey with tough shells, rigid exoskeletons, or sturdy bone structures that would challenge predators with proportionally weaker bites. A direct comparison with human bite force, dramatically lower, illustrates the impressive scale of this biological capability, evidencing an evolutionary adaptation specifically aimed at maximizing predatory effectiveness through concentrated mechanical pressure. The bull shark's characteristically aggressive behavior shows up as full commitment during predatory attacks, in contrast to the more cautious approaches seen in other species. Once an attack begins, the animal rarely backs off, applying maximum jaw pressure and often executing vigorous side-to-side head movements to tear through tough tissue. This technique, while energetically costly, maximizes damage inflicted in a short window of time, reducing the chances of successful escape for prey that might try to flee during more hesitant attacks. The bull shark's preferred habitat includes shallow coastal waters, estuaries, river deltas, and regions where freshwater gradually mixes with ocean salt water. This preference for transition zones often puts the species close to areas of intense human activity, including ports, urban beaches, and busy tourist regions. This geographic overlap between the predator's natural habitat and human recreational activities contributes to relatively frequent records of encounters between this particular species and swimmers, compared to sharks that live exclusively in deep, distant ocean waters. The bull shark's diet reflects considerable dietary opportunism, including various fish, other smaller sharks, rays, crustaceans, and occasionally smaller marine mammals. This dietary versatility perfectly complements its ability to navigate multiple aquatic environments, allowing it to exploit resources available in both coastal saltwater and freshwater river systems. This dietary flexibility, combined with exceptional environmental adaptability, positions the bull shark as a highly successful generalist predator across multiple distinct aquatic ecosystems. Biomechanical research using computer modeling has made it possible to precisely quantify the jaw force exerted during bull shark bites, comparing results directly against other species of similar or even larger body size. These studies confirmed that, proportional to body mass, this particular species exerts exceptionally high mechanical pressure, even surpassing considerably larger predators in absolute terms. This scientific finding has reshaped understanding of relative predatory capabilities among different shark species, highlighting the importance of considering proportionality when evaluating true biological predatory potential. Coming back to the unique ability to move between fresh and salt water mentioned at the start, it's worth recognizing how this specific physiological adaptation has fundamentally shaped this species' entire ecological strategy. Exclusive access to river environments, combined with disproportionately high jaw strength, positions the bull shark as a uniquely versatile predator, capable of exploiting food resources inaccessible to most traditional marine sharks. This rare combination of physiological and mechanical adaptations illustrates the extraordinary diversity of evolutionary strategies developed within the group of large ocean predatory sharks itself. The leopard seal, Hydrurga leptonix, ranks second in Antarctica's predator hierarchy, and its hunting method is one of the most elaborate among marine mammals. When hunting penguins, they wait near the edge of the ice where penguins jump in and out of the water, quickly grabbing them by the feet with their large flippers. They then slam the penguins against the water's surface before tearing them apart. They can swim up to 37 kilometers per hour. The behavior of playing with prey puzzles researchers. A leopard seal may chase a penguin or young seal, repeatedly cutting off its path back to the water, until the prey either manages to reach shore or collapses from exhaustion. Scientists speculate this behavior may serve as a form of play, or as a way for younger individuals to hone their hunting skills. Picture positioning yourself silently near an icy edge, watching unsuspecting creatures hesitate before diving into potentially dangerous waters. That scene describes precisely the waiting behavior adopted by the leopard seal, a predator that fully understands the predictable behavioral pattern of penguins gathered at the edge of the Antarctic ice. Calculated patience replaces active pursuit in this initial phase of the hunt, allowing the predator to conserve significant energy while waiting for the ideal moment, when prey inevitably enters the water in search of food or while returning from earlier feeding trips. The leopard seal's initial capture shows impressive precision combined with considerable physical strength. Powerful front flippers, capable of fast and precise movement, allow it to grab penguins exactly by the feet at the critical moment of entering or leaving the water. This technique minimizes the chance of escape, capitalizing on the moment of maximum vulnerability when prey finds itself transitioning between two distinct environments, not yet fully adapted for efficient escape in either one. The subsequent technique for processing the prey reveals behavior that seems brutal but is functionally efficient. After the initial capture, the leopard seal repeatedly slams the penguin against the water's surface, generating impact that makes it easier to later tear the prey apart. This mechanical method replaces the need for prolonged chewing, allowing for relatively quick consumption, even without specialized teeth for fine cutting. Exceptional swimming speed, which can exceed 37 kilometers per hour, rounds out this strategy, ensuring a decisive advantage during brief but intense chases. Playful behavior documented during certain hunts intrigues researchers who study this species extensively. Rather than finishing the capture quickly, some individuals draw out the chase, repeatedly cutting off the prey's escape attempts toward safe shore. This pattern, observed especially among younger individuals still developing full predatory skills, suggests a possible educational function, allowing for the refinement of hunting techniques through repeated practice in situations of relatively controlled risk compared to confrontations with more experienced adult prey. The leopard seal's ecological position within Antarctica's predatory hierarchy reflects remarkable physical adaptations for an extremely harsh environment. An elongated, flexible body, combined with a thick layer of insulating fat, allows for efficient movement through icy waters where extreme temperatures would make survival impossible for most mammals. Jaws equipped with specialized teeth, some adapted for filtering krill, while others serve to capture and process larger prey, demonstrate a dietary versatility that spans everything from microscopic organisms to penguins and young seals of related species. The leopard seal's varied diet includes, beyond the penguins captured through the technique described earlier, Antarctic krill filtered through specialized teeth, various fish, and occasionally pups of other seal species. This dietary breadth allows for adaptation based on seasonal resource availability, ensuring survival even during periods when certain prey become scarce. This elevated predatory position, combined with considerable dietary flexibility, positions the species as a key ecological component within the highly specialized Antarctic ecosystem. Behavioral studies conducted through direct observation and tracking equipment have documented consistent hunting patterns among different leopard seal populations spread along the Antarctic coast. Researchers identified a preference for certain geographic locations where concentrations of breeding penguins create predictable feeding opportunities during specific seasons. This territorial specialization, combined with hunting techniques refined over generations, demonstrates considerable behavioral sophistication within a species often underestimated compared to more popularly known marine predators. Coming back to the secondary position in Antarctica's predatory hierarchy mentioned at the start, it's worth putting this species' relationship with another dominant regional predator into context, the orca. While it holds an elevated position within the local ecosystem, the leopard seal remains vulnerable to orca attacks, which occasionally prey on this species when the opportunity arises. This dynamic reinforces a pattern observed repeatedly across different ocean regions worldwide, where orcas consistently emerge as the undisputed dominant predator, even in the face of other formidable, highly specialized hunters like the Antarctic leopard seal itself. The leopard seal sits at the top of Antarctica's food chain, except for one single animal. Orcas are currently the only recognized predators of the leopard seal. Antarctic orcas have developed a specific hunting technique for knocking seals off ice floes. A pod of 7 orcas carried out a coordinated attack on a seal, generating a wave to wash the prey off the ice. The orca's first wave is designed to shrink the size of the ice floe, which increases the impact of the waves that follow. Even the leopard seal, capable of dominating penguins and smaller seals with ease, backs down in the face of the collective strategy and raw force of a pod of orcas working in sync. Picture a predator that completely dominates its local environment, capable of overpowering nearly any other creature within reach, suddenly facing an opponent that operates by entirely different rules. That's exactly the situation the leopard seal finds itself in when it encounters organized pods of orcas working the same icy Antarctic waters. While the leopard seal relies on individual strength and explosive speed, orcas bring something qualitatively different: group coordination capable of turning even physical features of the environment, like floating ice floes, into an active tool used against the very prey being targeted. The wave generation technique is an impressive display of collective behavioral engineering. Multiple orcas, swimming in sync toward the ice floe where the prey is resting, generate enough swell to crack or tilt the frozen surface, destabilizing the leopard seal's footing. This initial attack rarely results in an immediate capture. Instead, it functions as strategic groundwork, progressively shrinking the available ice and making subsequent waves proportionally more effective at finally washing the prey toward the water, where the orcas' numerical advantage becomes decisive. The timing coordination between pod members during this specific attack demonstrates a level of communication and coordination rarely matched among marine predators. Each participating orca adjusts its speed, direction, and timing of impact based on the positioning of the others, creating a wave pattern that maximizes the resulting force against the target ice flow. This collective precision, presumably refined through shared experience and possibly passed down culturally across generations, illustrates a level of cognitive sophistication that goes beyond what any single member of the hunting group could achieve alone. The leopard seal's vulnerability to this specific strategy stands in sharp contrast to its dominance in other predatory contexts. Capable of processing penguins with brutal efficiency and chasing down young seals through complex aquatic maneuvers, this same predator finds itself completely defenseless against a technique that neutralizes precisely its territorial advantage: the stability of the very ice it relies on for refuge. This reversal of ecological power entirely dependent on the specific context of the confrontation, illustrates how predatory dominance is never absolute. It shifts depending on the opponent and the environmental circumstances involved. Scientific documentation of this specific behavior is still relatively recent, benefiting from advances in remote observation technology and underwater recording. Researchers positioned on nearby vessels have managed to capture full sequences of these coordinated attacks, providing direct visual evidence of behavior that was previously only theorized based on fragmented observations. These records have contributed significantly to the formal recognition of orcas as the only known natural predators capable of consistently threatening adult leopard seals within their own established Antarctic territory. The ecological implications of this specific predatory relationship extend beyond the one-on-one confrontation between the two species. The presence of orcas in certain Antarctic regions can influence leopard seals' territorial distribution, potentially altering this secondary predator's hunting patterns toward penguins and other usual prey. This cascade of indirect effects shows how predatory dynamics between dominant species ripple through the entire local ecological structure, affecting multiple trophic levels even when direct interactions remain relatively infrequent throughout the year. The cognitive capacity required to devise and carry out the wave generation strategy suggests sophisticated mental processing, involving an understanding of basic physics related to fluid movement and ice fracturing. While attributing conscious intentionality to animal behavior calls for considerable scientific caution, the repeated and refined pattern of this specific technique across multiple distinct family groups suggests cultural transmission of knowledge, a process where successful techniques are learned through observation and replicated by new group members across successive generations. Coming back to the leopard seal's position at the top of the Antarctic hierarchy mentioned at the start, it's worth recognizing how even seemingly dominant predators remain subject to broader hierarchies involving specialized opponents. This pattern, observed repeatedly across different ocean regions and different prey species, consistently reinforces orcas' position as a truly exceptional predator, capable of neutralizing the specific physical and behavioral advantages of practically any other marine hunter through collective intelligence and refined group cooperation. The sperm whale is physically larger than the orca. It can reach up to 20 meters in length and weigh around 25,800 kilograms, compared to an orca's 8 or 9 meters and 5 to 6 tons. Even so, there's no record of orcas being preyed upon by sperm whales, while there is scientific documentation of the reverse. Orcas attacking and killing sperm whales, especially females and calves isolated from the group. The explanation lies in strategy, not raw size. Orcas use coordinated strategies to take down prey far larger than themselves, which earns them top predator status over larger animals in many regions. Social intelligence and group hunting outweigh the advantage of sheer body mass, the same pattern seen in attacks on great white sharks and leopard seals. Picture two fighters squaring off directly. One of them considerably larger physically, capable of crushing the opponent through sheer body mass if it could just land that advantage directly. This scenario, seemingly favorable to the bigger competitor, rarely plays out that way when the smaller opponent compensates with superior strategy, teamwork, and the ability to exploit specific vulnerabilities. This dynamic describes precisely the relationship observed between sperm whales and orcas, where absolute size takes a back seat to behavioral and organizational factors that prove far more decisive in determining the outcome of direct confrontations. The physical disparity between the two species is striking in scale. Adult sperm whales can reach lengths over 20 meters, with body mass exceeding 25 tons in larger specimens, figures that considerably exceed the typical dimensions of adult orcas. If a confrontation depended exclusively on raw individual strength applied in a direct, isolated combat situation, reasonable expectations would clearly favor the sperm whale. Yet scientific records show a completely reversed pattern, with orcas consistently succeeding in attacks against this considerably larger species, especially when targeting vulnerable individuals isolated from the main group. The specific vulnerability of female and young sperm whales ties directly to this species' social structure and the hunting patterns orcas employ. Young calves, not yet fully developed physically, lack the body mass and strength needed to effectively withstand coordinated attacks. Females temporarily separated from the main family group, perhaps during individual feeding activities or specific movements, become preferred targets when orcas spot an attack opportunity without having to face the combined resistance of multiple adult sperm whales collectively protecting more vulnerable members. The coordinated strategy orcas use during these specific attacks involves dividing roles among members of the hunting pod. Some individuals may work to isolate the target sperm whale from the rest of the family group, while others carry out direct attacks aimed at vital organs or causing progressive fatigue through repeated bites. This multi-pronged approach, impossible to replicate through isolated individual effort, allows a pod of orcas, each smaller in individual body mass, to eventually overpower a physically superior opponent through calculated, coordinated attrition. The behavioral pattern observed in these specific confrontations directly echoes the strategies documented in attacks against great white sharks and leopard seals, mentioned earlier in this comparative analysis of marine predators. In all of these cases, the orca's decisive advantage doesn't come from raw physical superiority, but from superior organizational ability, efficient communication among pod members, and a willingness to invest collective time and energy toward a specific predatory outcome. This behavioral consistency across different target species reinforces our understanding of the true nature of the ecological dominance orcas exercise. The biological implications of this specific predatory dynamic extend to a broader understanding of how hunting strategies evolve among highly social marine mammals. The cognitive capacity needed to identify specific vulnerabilities, coordinate complex attacks, and pass strategic knowledge down across generations suggests sophisticated neural processing, possibly tied to a proportionally large brain size and specialized neurological structures for complex social processing observed in orcas compared to other cetacean species, including the sperm whale itself despite its considerably larger body size. The relative frequency of these attacks remains a subject of ongoing scientific investigation, depending significantly on regional factors including population density of both species, the availability of alternative prey for orcas, and specific sperm whale migration patterns across different global oceans. While this isn't a constant or universal predatory pattern across all ocean regions, consistent documentation of these specific events across multiple distinct geographic locations confirms that this predatory dynamic isn't an isolated anomaly, but a replicable behavioral pattern observed repeatedly when the right specific conditions align. Coming back to the initial comparison between the two species' drastically different physical sizes, it's worth consolidating the core ecological lesson that emerges from this specific comparative analysis. Individual body mass, while relevant in many predatory contexts, doesn't automatically determine a definitive hierarchical position within complex marine ecosystems. Social intelligence, organizational capability, and collective strategy, refined across successive generations, have proven able to overcome seemingly overwhelming physical advantages. A principle that repeats consistently whenever orcas confront considerably larger opponents across the different scientifically documented ocean contexts. The bull shark has the proportionally strongest bite. The tiger shark has the most varied diet and the most refined night vision. The great white shark can detect blood from miles away and looms large in the popular imagination as the supreme predator. The sperm whale dives to 3,000 meters to wage physical battles against giant squid. The leopard seal dominates penguins and smaller seals through speed and raw strength in Antarctica. But at the top of this entire chain sits the orca, despite picking up the nickname killer whale. It's the ocean's true apex predator. Orcas function, most consistently, as top predators on an ocean-wide scale. Great white sharks and other large sharks are top predators within many coastal systems. Sperm whales are top predators within deep-sea cephalopod food webs. Each one dominates its own territory, but only one of them hunts the other four. Picture bringing together, in a single comparative lineup, all the marine predators discussed so far, each showcasing its particular specialty developed over millions of years of specific evolutionary adaptation. The bull shark standing out for its disproportionate jaw strength, the tiger shark showing off extraordinary dietary versatility, the great white shark displaying impressive olfactory sensitivity, the sperm whale revealing extreme diving capability, the leopard seal demonstrating remarkable aquatic agility. Each specialization represents a distinct evolutionary solution to specific ecological challenges faced within their respective environmental niches over a long adaptive process. The bull shark specialization in proportional jaw strength reflects the need to process tough prey across diverse environments, from salty coastal waters to distant freshwater rivers. This exceptional mechanical capability, combined with rare physiological flexibility to move between drastically different aquatic environments, positions this species as a formidable predator within its specific ecological context. Though geographically limited compared to the much broader oceanic range consistently explored by orcas on a truly global scale. The tiger shark's versatility, expressed through an extraordinarily broad diet and visual capability adapted for efficient night hunting, ensures consistent predatory success across multiple coastal and tropical ocean ecosystems. This extreme generalism functions as a robust survival strategy, reducing dependence on specific prey that could become seasonally scarce. However, this individual approach, while effective, lacks the cooperative dimension that allows orcas to dramatically expand their predatory reach through sophisticated group coordination, something impossible to replicate through solitary behavior. The great white shark's cultural reputation as the supreme predator, cemented through decades of intense media portrayal, contrasts sharply with its actual ecological position as established through the scientific evidence gathered throughout this full comparative analysis. Impressive sensory capabilities and a refined ambush technique guarantee considerable predatory success against traditional prey like seals and sea lions. However, its documented vulnerability to orchestrated orca attacks definitively repositions this iconic species within a broader, more complex hierarchy than earlier simplified popular perception suggested. The sperm whale, despite having considerably larger body dimensions than any individual orca, perfectly exemplifies the central principle emerging from this analysis. Physical size alone doesn't automatically guarantee an unchallenged dominant hierarchical position. Its extraordinary ability to dive to extreme depths, waging direct physical battles against giant squid in total darkness, demonstrates impressive evolutionary adaptation to a highly specialized specific ecological niche. Even so, its documented vulnerability to coordinated attacks by pods of orcas reinforces the consistent pattern observed repeatedly throughout this entire comparative analysis. The leopard seal, effectively dominating penguins and smaller seals through a combination of speed, strength, and sophisticated predatory technique, represents the peak of adaptation within the extremely specialized and hostile Antarctic ecosystem. Yet even this considerable territorial dominance hits a clear ceiling in the face of collective strategies employed by Orcus, capable of neutralizing individual advantages through refined group cooperation and specialized techniques developed specifically to overcome this particular species' natural defenses within its own established habitat. The unifying pattern emerging across all of these specific comparisons consistently points to a single decisive factor. Collective organizational capability repeatedly outweighs isolated individual advantages, regardless of raw strength, speed, body size, or specific sensory specialization developed by each individual species. Orcus, through sophisticated social intelligence, efficient communication among pod members, and the ability to pass strategic knowledge down across successive generations, consistently managed to neutralize the specific advantages other predators have developed through independent, prolonged evolutionary processes. Growing scientific recognition of Orcus' hierarchical position, established through decades of direct observation, electronic tagging, and systematic documentation of specific predatory behaviors, has fundamentally transformed our understanding of the true power structure within global marine ecosystems. Each species analyzed throughout this comparative sequence maintains considerable dominance within its specific ecological context, exploiting unique adaptations refined through particular evolutionary pressures. Yet only one single species demonstrates a consistent ability to transcend these specific ecological boundaries, exerting predatory influence across multiple contexts, multiple prey types, and multiple distinct ocean regions, cementing a truly exceptional position within the intricate food web connecting all of the planet's oceans.